Hi, I'm Grateful Ted. Thanks for being here, and I'm really appreciative. I'm super grateful. And as you can tell by everything here and the title of the video, we're in the City of Light and the host of next year's Summer Olympics. We're in Paris. Glad you're here. You know, most people do vlogs and it's this in Paris and that in Paris, and it's the Eiffel Tower, it's the Pantheon, it's the Arc de Triomphe. We're going to do something a little bit different. I've been here 6 or 7 times. This is my favorite place to go. So I'm going to show you some things that a lot of people don't know about. Maybe they know about it, but they've never seen, and that's what we're going to do. There's 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 3 places. I don't know how many we're going to get to. It's supposed to rain all week, so we'll see what happens. But I'm glad you're here, and let's go get in love with the City of Love. There's a lot of tourists in Montmartre, but if you come a couple of 3 blocks away and find some really cool things, then there's not nearly as many. Will there be tourists? Yeah, there really will. But this is one place I like. It's not that far from Sacré-Cœur. Sacré-Cœur is a great place to go. I highly recommend it. There'll be a lot of people there, but you can see all over the city. The inside of the cathedral is wonderful, and you can climb up to the top of the dome, and it will give you the best view of the city. Now, this figure right here was done by an artist, and the artist, he liked the book by a different author, and it was about this character. And so in this character here, he learned he could walk through walls, so he started to take revenge on those people who really didn't do things right by him. And one day he walked through a wall and he couldn't get all the way through. And so it came to this. And so the sculptor who did this in honor of this author because he really liked it. The myth is if you rub his hand, it brings you good luck. Also, over here, this is the butt of the guy who made that. You know where La Maison Rose is? Just a block down is the statue of Dalida. Dalida she started out as an actress, and she's from Egypt. She moved to Paris. She started out as an actress, and later became one of the biggest international singers. And there's a statue of her here. Her house is not that far, and her fans like to rub her chest, let them know they still love her. My very favorite foreign film, and I have to say one of my favorite top 5 films of all times, is a French film called Amélie. And Amélie used to come to this market, and she had it out for the guy that owned the market. And it's a really great place to come and visit. Amélie's all over the walls, inside and out. I brought my granddaughter here several years ago, I think for her high school graduation, and she posed with a picture of Amélie, and they looked sort of alike back then, you know? But you can find a lot of cool places in Montmartre that's not with the tourists. We're going to go find some other places not in Montmartre. So one of the places that people don't necessarily think about is the metro stations. Now, most of the metro stations, they're just basically white tile, but there are several that they spent some time really dressing up. For instance, right now I'm at the Arts et Matière, and this was done in a Jules Verne style. The artist who did this like Jules Verne's, and so it's all metal. There are, you may notice some round windows, and there are pieces of Jules Verne type equipment in there. Also, at the Louvre, there are statues, and there are some very artful ones, and you need to know where those are. But so don't overlook the metro stations because they're equally good. So another place here in Paris that isn't as touristy, and most of the locals know about it, is a place called Village Bercy, and we're going to go in there and see. It's basically a shopping center that's been architected like a small little village. So let's go look at it. Now, as we walk through this, show you some of the places that you can do shopping here or stop and eat. Of course, nothing says the free spirit of Amsterdam more than a clothing store called Scotch and Soda. So another place that tourists don't know about is the Coulee Vert, and it's a very nice long walk. A lot of it's in the trees, but a lot of it is up above. It's an old rail line, and it was here in the mid-1800s. And about the 1970s, 1980s, they abandoned it and they made it into this really cool walk. So come on, let's go. There's always a lot of art around Paris, everywhere. Now, about halfway through the hike, which is about 4 kilometers, you'll come to a big park, and you'll be able to raise up over everything, and you'll be on the Grand Coulee and Coulee Verde. And the first time that we came here and did this hike, this is where we started. If you're old and out of shape like us, this is the place to start. You can even bring stuff for a picnic. This is basically the raised platform of the railroad. I'll show you what it looks like from down below, but from here you can see the city neighborhoods from up above and really get a sense of things. It's a very safe walk, a lot of families. You can take it at your own pace. As you can see, there are a lot of benches to sit and rest. I think you'll like it. And several times along the walk, the buildings make way for the Coulee Verde, as you can see. And you can imagine that the railroad tracks that used to be here you can see they've got little birdhouses up there. And then you can come up here, look at the pond, see the goldfish. You can hear it's nice and quiet. And just as a reminder, you're right in the middle of the city of Paris. I remember one time when I was in Paris, sitting at a table, having something to eat, and the lady in the table next to us was saying, I don't know why they call Paris the city of light. It should be called the city of graffiti because there's so much of it around here. Wave. Paris has a lot of beautiful trees, and certainly since it's mid-September, you might be thinking, well, these trees are turning for fall, and some of them probably are. But the other thing you should know is Paris is in the middle of basically a 2-year drought, and some of these trees are dying off. And here you can get a pretty good sense of how they mash up the ancient buildings with the modern ones. Those old bricks and cobbled bricks, the yellowish cobble bricks, are the really old portions of these buildings. What was here before. So this is pretty much the end of it. Hope you've enjoyed this portion. So another place you can go to is, and I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing this correctly, but it's the Bir Hakeim Bridge. And some people come here. Does this look familiar? It might if you've seen the movie Inception, because there was an incredible scene done on this movie.
I know this bridge. This place is real, isn't it?
Yeah, I cross it every day to get to the college.
Also, if you're here, you have a great view of the Eiffel Tower. There's a little place over there that you can go out on over the river, and you're out of the way of all the traffic, and you can get a good shots of the Eiffel Tower. But there's another thing I want to show you downstairs. There's an island right here that goes like this, and we're going to go down there on that island. So come on. Of course, there are a lot of people who live on their boat in the Seine here in Paris. Once you get to the end of this little island, after you come down the stairs, it's a good little hike, but maybe 8-9 blocks long. And what you do is you get this, and this is the Statue of Liberty. Now, most people know that France gave the US the original Statue of Liberty, and so this is a replica of that, and it honors France giving it to the US. There's not too far down the Seine here, maybe a mile or so, there's a replica of the torch that the Statue of Liberty is holding. And that's actually become a memorial to Princess Diana, because right underneath it is the tunnel where she was in an automobile accident that took her life. And if you find the torch, it's there. It's huge. It's maybe 10, 15 feet high. But what happens is people are putting flowers and memorials to Princess Diana. Have you been to Paris? If you have, comment down below and tell us what you liked about it. Paris tends to be my favorite place. Unfortunately, we didn't get to all the places we wanted to get to for you. As I've mentioned to you in previous episodes, my stamina isn't what it is now that I'm in my mid-70s, and I go up a year tomorrow. But there are a lot of places we didn't get to that I would suggest. You can go to the catacombs, you can go to all kinds of other places. If you look online, you can find secret places, and there doesn't seem to be nearly as many tourists there. And if you've watched several of these episodes, you know that we had some really unfortunate thing happen. A lot of my photography equipment was stolen here in Paris, and I don't know if I can go on. I'm going to try, but I need to replace that equipment if I'm going to continue to go on. If you want to help the channel, support it keep going, then there's a super thanks button down below. You can press and make a small to a large donation. Any donation helps. If you liked what you saw here, give it a thumbs up. You might think of subscribing. I can always use subscribers. And we've got another couple of weeks here in Europe, so we've got another vlogger for before I get home and decide what's happening. And so come back next week, and we will see you next week.